I'm Duncan Ferguson and you're watching Toffee TV.
Welcome back to Toffee TV. We've got Matt Jones with us on the couch to discuss Everton 1, Southampton 1 in the Premier League. Can I just start by grabbing my cup of tea? This is probably one of the worst games of football I've ever seen in my life. It was truly horrendous.
Worse than Palace Wednesday.
Well,
Worse than Watford.
with my own eyes, with my own eyes, as in the ground. Oh, it was bad. It was so bad.
I honestly think the 3 games in the last week have been fighting to be the worst game of football you'll ever see. They're like, nah, we can. It started off at Watford, it was turgid. Then it went to Palace and it was shite. And then it got to Saturday and it was just absolute. I won't disappoint any players by saying their names.
It was. Well, we'll get into that.
Don't. It was Baselli.
It was numb. It was very numbing. It was.
Mind numbing.
Matt, you got in late, and
look at you.
I just wouldn't have bothered. I just wouldn't have bothered.
Well, the only reason I went was because I ran over late in work, and then I was selling me derby ticket to somebody after the game, so I had to go up. Unfortunately,
Face value, Matt.
Matt's packed it all in. He's like, I'm selling.
Matt's going to live on an island, like Castaway. Matt's going Tom Hanks.
He's already got the air.
Save me money for Wembley when the inevitable drinking when we get beaten. Need to drown me sorrows.
I'll be going to a B&Q after we finish. Never mind, into an ale house. We made changes. I honestly didn't think we'd make that many changes. I mean, obviously I don't know what the injury situation's like, but we made quite a few changes. Some yes, some no. You can understand why Lukaku wasn't playing. You can understand why maybe Baines wasn't playing, but the replacements very strange for some of them.
Osman was always playing.
He
was always playing, and he was always captain.
I just don't understand though, like why.
I put on Twitter before the game. I hope we see some young lads playing, and not the likes of Osman and Gibson and others and the rest. But yeah, it was just disappointing because you look at those players and you think, are they going to be an Everton player in a couple of months' time? Are they going to be any part of the plans going forward? You've got 2 young lads on the bench there, and while we've seen a glimpse of them, it would have been nice to have seen how they did for an hour or how they did for 45 minutes in the game. And it was just, even when that Davis came on at the end and was knocking it around a little bit, it gave everyone a little bit of a lift. The atmosphere went up a little bit, and you're thinking, if he'd gone with that, like a few more, like Sadal in there, maybe started those 2 other lads from the beginning, it might have been a better atmosphere, which is what we need at the moment to galvanise everybody.
He would have had, the crowd would have been with them. Yeah. I think he, without trying to defend him, I think that you're probably looking at, it would have been the first time in our history we'd lost 4 consecutive home games if we'd have lost yesterday. If we'd have lost Saturday. So he's obviously got, we don't want to get beat every week, do you? And he's probably looking at players who are training without playing and thinking we'll get some experience in there. But he probably could have got a better mix, couldn't he? Yeah. We've ended up losing Seamus Coleman, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. He's not playing well enough at the moment, but he's certainly the only right back we've got who has got experience. Obviously Tony Hibbert might come in, but we can't see. Are we going to see Hibbert and Osman at Wembley 7 years after Chelsea? Could happen. So you can kind of understand some of the selection that he's made, but
you've just mentioned Seamus Coleman there. I mean, why bother starting him? Why bother? I know the injuries.
He doesn't know he's going to get it.
I know the injury, but why? That's what I'm saying. But why bother starting him? Do you know what I mean? Why not? I know what you're saying. It's personal pride more than anything. Maybe that's the thing that's stopping him. The 4 defeats, and I think there was the 4 defeats, wasn't there? There was the point tally,
but that's gone.
Which was gone. If Southampton had scored another goal that would have made the most. But which will probably happen in the next 2 at home games anyway. So there is his own personal pride, which he seems to be very conscious of. I mean, I've seen someone say today that...
Oh, stop it, mate. He always takes responsibility.
Well, so I've seen someone today saying... I can't even remember what they'd said. Someone's basically just saying... we've made a scapegoat out of this very sort of honest and charming man. And you're just like, what planet do you live on? Because it is... He's getting like Brendan. Well, he's gone past Brendan Rodgers for me, but... I just think Saturday... I would have just gone the whole way, do you know what I mean? I would have made all the changes. I wouldn't have messed about at all. I mean, I wasn't too happy about Gibson and Osman playing, but Gibson ends up being man of the match, and and Ozzy ends up running around more than some other players that we're told
be running
that
around,
we're told do run around. The likes of Delafeu, the likes of Morales, even Bessage, who I love.
He was
I thought
tall,
he was
wasn't
poor.
He was terrible.
He was too busy like G-ing Gibson up. Then it just struck me that the players who really should be having a go on Saturday, who bemoan the fact that they don't get in the first team, that could still, you know, press their cause for a game in the semi-final, were nowhere to be seen.
I said this against Stevenage, the third round. You know, people were like, well, you know, we've won, and you can tell by with footballers, like, it's about the, you know, take Luis Suarez for argument's sake. If he'd have played against Stevenage, he'd be kicking them and everything, wouldn't he? He'd want to score, he'd give it 100% every time he plays. And I look at the likes of Morales at the weekend, you're thinking, this is a chance here to just remind everybody how good you are. We'd seen a little cameo at Watford. He didn't do anything really at Palace, but he got a start at the weekend, you know, at home against a team, you know, that'll let you play, so to speak. And he, apart from one shot when he went on a little run in the first half and hit it wide, or got a corner from him or something, he didn't do anything. He just bobbed around in the middle of the pitch, like, just as if I can do what I want. Delafeu was garbage, and I love Jerry, but he was garbage.
And you look at him and you think, obviously Lennon's been playing in the team recently, he's been doing well. You think Delafeu might be hungry to get in the team, show what he can do. He started the last 4 games now, has he? Or was it the last 3? He starts 3 out the last 4 at least anyway, and he's not done anything in any of them, and you're looking for him to spark into life. And it's like you said there, these players who've been on the fringes should be putting everything in and showing a lot of appetite for the game, even though the atmosphere was flat, even though we've got a derby in a semi-final. They should be staking the claim, and the fact that none of them at all really did it was quite sad, to be honest.
I mean, people still bang on about the crowd. They blame the Everton fans for the way it is at Goodison. I'm not having it. I'm really not having it. If they walked out to booze at 3 o'clock and for constant 90 minutes jeering them, booing them, you'd go, yeah, alright, the people have got a point. It was like the weekend, you know, there's loads, and I said this on the video we done yesterday, that, you know, maybe we've got it wrong, maybe we're in the minority.
No, I don't think we are.
I'm gonna say, this is why I'm saying it, because people, you see a lot of people going, time for a change, no time, and then you sit through a game at the weekend and it's silent. So, you know, people want the manager out, or do they?
But you not think...
But people will go, well, they don't want to do it because they've got a Wembley. Wembley at the weekend, it doesn't matter. It doesn't. I'm going and I want us to win, and I'll be jumping around like a knobhead when we win, if we win, and if we win the FA Cup. But for me, Everton Football Club is bigger than these next 2 games. It's next season, the season after the season after. The crowd, you can't blame the crowd on one hand and then say, yeah, but they're not doing it for this reason, but this is the reason why. The players aren't playing well. The crowd should be taking the professional. So if they go out at Old Trafford and 73,000 people are booing them every time they get the ball. At Anfield on Wednesday, they're going to get booed and hissed every time they touch the ball by 40-odd thousand Norwegians or whatever they are, right, with iPads. They're going to get booed, aren't they? So are they going to crumble? Well, they normally do, to be fair. But you've got to be able to take that. At Goodison, I don't think they get booed or hissed. It's just quiet. It's just quiet. So you've got to make the crowd engage. Like you said before, the kids come on and everyone went, something new to watch here. And the next minute, that Connolly won his
something to get behind, isn't it?
And that's it. You know?
That's it. Like, were either of you excited going to the game looking at that team? What did you think?
Matt, I don't get excited to go in the game anyway.
No, but if Darwin played,
you'd have had an interest.
We've been saying this for weeks.
You know, you'd at least think, oh, something new to look forward to. You know, and again, it's the way you play. Like Southampton, like I've watched the game back, and not just you know, when I got home, and the way they pressed and got after us in those early few minutes, they didn't give us any time to get out. And you're thinking, why aren't we doing that to teams?
That classy Clayton, that I say, classy in midfield. He was everywhere. That first 20 minutes, he was everywhere. We were like the away side. We couldn't get out of our own half.
But why aren't we doing that to teams? Why aren't we setting a precedent at home and showing that we do?
I'll tell you why, mate. Because your team is always an imprint of your manager.
Yeah.
Always an imprint. You watch the other lot. They're running around like knobheads now, aren't they? They're everywhere. They're all over the pitch, putting tackles in. Spurs everywhere. Pochettino's there barking at them. Other clubs do it. You know, Koeman was up screaming and pointing at the weekend.
And do you know what the thing about that
Ours is there.
know what the thing about that is?
It's sad.
And it was funny because I was having a chat with my missus about this yesterday, like, cause she said, like, you can't dislike Klopp. You can't, like, listen, and my missus fully into footy, she's in ticket older than that, but she just said she hates them, but she just said you can't not like him. And I said to her, the thing about Klopp is he's the kind of manager that his ethos will make poor players look good. Our manager is making good players look poor. That's the difference. It's like when you go back to Joe Rogan in '95 and why people wonder how he took that team, which was so poor, and made it the way it was. Because he got the team, he found all the workers and said, I want you to work. And once all those workers started working, all the other players, like Anders Limpar, suddenly had all this extra space and time to breathe. You know, and not only that, they knew that if they didn't work hard, they would look like bad knobheads.
And someone else was coming in.
Yeah, and suddenly you seen players like Limpar elevated. For 1 minute he was a bad shithouse and everyone hated him. The next minute he was loved, he was adored. He left the club on such a, you know, on such a high. You know, that's what
Barry Orme was, people just used to go, alright, he got a lot of grace because he scored a worldie against Wimbledon, of course, which he deserved, but people were still like, yeah, you know, and then the next minute him and Parkinson and Ebrel were like the Holy Trinity.
Yeah. Parky was
a jar copy of the Holy Trinity.
No one had seen Parky play, so suddenly you probably look at him and saying to him, what's his biggest asset? He'll work his bollocks off. John Ebrel, what's his biggest asset? He'll work his arse off. You know, you got those players, and suddenly and that's all you need in football.
Yeah.
Leicester are proving that. Leicester are the embodiment of that. You can have 8 players or 7 players who will work their bollocks off. You had a decent goal scorer and a boss number 10 or whatever, a boss winger or whatever, and top it off by having a good goalie, and you've got a winning side there, and that's all it takes in football. Truly, that's all it takes.
Sky Henry did an interview with Pyatt yesterday. I don't know if you've seen it before that game, and he was saying that when he got to West Ham, he was tracking back, and Noble said, no, we'll do your running for you. The rest of the players, you go and affect it in the top end of the pitch. And you get the impression Leicester are doing something similar to Maris as well, because they've got so many players who will put a shift in. But you mentioned about Liverpool there as well. Whether they play well or not with the ball, teams who go there now will always be in a game because of the way they play. They will not give teams an easy ride. There'll be no side that goes there and rolls them over easily now. And you look at us and teams come and just go, sound. Yeah. Over you go, Everton.
Put their hands on our heads. Yeah. Put their hands on our heads. And that's the difference. And when people are moaning about Ross Barkley, because people will always moan about, and I know he's tailed off recently, and they go, he's a terrible tackler and all that. Ross Barkley shouldn't have to do any of that stuff. I know people go, well, he should, but he shouldn't, because he's the little bit of fairy dust on the top. You know, he's the Mahrez kind of player. Maybe he's not up to that level yet, but he shouldn't have to be doing all that. There should be a midfield that does that for him, because that's how we're set up. We're set up with 2 holding midfielders in every game. Ross Barkley shouldn't have to do any tracking back, really. Your wingers should be able to attack, because look at like Leicester, their fullbacks don't really get going forward.
No.
Or the wingers or the wide men tuck in. You've got to have one or the other, and we don't. We just have like it's all thrown in. Your wingers get forward, your fullbacks get forward, and all these managers and Koeman, you know, you mentioned Koeman there, fuming after the game, absolutely going mad because of that display. And ours is just like brilliant, 2 debuts, and you think, what fucking planet do you live on? What planet? You've just seen your players get chased all around the pitch by a team that I don't hardly know any of their players. I do now, but beforehand I was like, who's that? I don't know him. And you're just thinking,
no, that was disappointing.
Good scout, yeah, but good scouting, work ethic, and a manager the manager came out after the game. The manager came after the game, and he named all 4 of their four strikers. 4 strikers.
They've got another one, Austin, who's
no, but he named all 4 of their strikers and just went, it's not good enough. It is not good enough.
Did he?
Yeah, he said it's not. Those lads should be scoring goals in games like this. He said it's not good enough. But he named them all. I think he said something like, I don't normally do this. He said, but I feel like I've got to today. Because he knew that they should have beaten us about 5-1, really. If they should
go
have
for Europe.
No, that's what he said. He said if we're going for Europe, we should have absolutely battered these today. That's what basically he said, and that's the difference.
Right.
It starts there, and
I have said for ages about this with the strikers, and people will quote, "You only need Lukaku and this way we play." The way we play is crap. It's crap. We play one centre forward. We've done it the weekend. We've asked someone to play up front. You doubt if he's even a forward anyway, and we just left him on his own. 30 yards up the pitch. The kid can't run, bless him. He's got a stupid haircut and he can't run. And we don't put anyone round him. You've got Delafay, he doesn't know what he's doing no more. What was on the left? But who was on the left?
No one was on the
left. Nobody.
We didn't play anyone on the left.
But then Osman was getting dragged. Morales was nowhere. Oviedo cotton wool legs. It's just shambolic. It's shambolic. Everton Football Club should have 4 centre forwards, and every one of them should be able to do a job. You should never see an Everton team and go, God, we've only got him up front today like we do with Coney. If Rom's not playing, you should be going, not us, because we've got A and B there and they'll get goals.
Look at Leicester. Just look at Leicester. They've got Vardy scores all the goals, but then they've got Okazaki who scored about 5 or 6 goals. But when he plays, he works so hard to open all the spaces for Vardy. They've got a lower who does the same thing. He's probably scored about 5 or 6, maybe 5 goals this season. But when he plays, he works. And when Vardy doesn't play, he's still working hard to open up the spaces. And all I can say about Coney is he probably gave me the biggest laugh I've had all season on Saturday. That overhead kick. Oh my God, I could watch that on repeat. I was pissing myself. I was sitting there just pissing myself when he did. It was just, it was hilarious. I loved every minute of it.
I just shook my head.
At least he had a go.
Yeah, exactly. And like some in a kids team, you'll get the trophy at the end of the season for turning up every week.
It's like that fella on the advert, on one of the Buckies adverts. He tries all the complicated, tries scoring dead fancy goals. But going back to what you said about the managers there, an article you were quoting, actually Jonathan Norcroft in the Sunday Times, and the opening paragraph of that was absolutely brilliant what he said, and he compared the 2 quotes from Klopp and Martinez. Like last week, Martinez said the Palace result was an incredible result, and Klopp said something about their game about it being a memorable night, and then he said one of them drew against Crystal Palace, one of them came back from whatever against Borussia Dortmund. It just summed up the difference in standards.
It does, and I said that on Thursday night, and I got loads of abuse by Evertonians who are just paralysed by the fact that our neighbours had this amazing result, and it's like you said, and it's like, oh, you can't put the two together. You can't honestly put the two together. On one hand, you've got an absolute dickhead who spouts nonsense, and on the other hand, you've just got this fella who just sends his team out and they just do it, and they're not even a better team than us. They're not a better team than us, but it's the standards that club set. And that's why they got rid of Rodgers and got Klopp in. Do you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if Liverpool, Rodgers could have been doing all right, but the moment Klopp come available, they just went, no, he's better, so let's go and get him. It's not this, he's shite, he was shite, but you know what I mean? It's like,
well, that's what you do as a football club. You do it if Everton could get Lewandowski, I'd be chasing Lukaku out the door as quick as anything. So because that's what you do. I'd have the both of them, because that's what a proper club does. But that's what you do. If you see a better player, you get him. You don't go, oh, you know what, he's been great for us though, so we don't want that better version because he's boss and
we don't upset him.
No, you just go, and this is the thing. A good manager would come into Goodison in the summer and he'd go, right, Ron, you're staying, end of story, so stop whinging, start scoring 50 goals, you bad knobhead. Right, push him to the side, chase that,
put a media ban
chase that dickhead. Right, let's kick him down the curb, he can't do nothing, get rid of him. Then it'd end up get 2 or 3 more centre forwards in, and have 3-4 centre forwards who are the dog's bollocks who can come in. You know, we looked at the weekend, I'd rather have gone and paid $8.5 million for Shane Long in January. Then we'll talk about him in a minute. But then, you know, we were getting a donation, we'd go and put that money on Long and go, come in and run alongside Lukaku up there and make him, put Rom in the middle and you do his leg work for him, because he's a pest. He's good in the air. He's, you know, he'll get the odd goal. He gets about 8 or 9 goals a season. He doesn't give up. For me, for this club to go forward, for this team to go forward, it needs to be ripped up and started again. It needs, please forget this one up front bollocks. A team that plays 2 up front's going to win the league. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
End of story. The other team that
That's-
plays 2 up front is in semi-finals of the Champions League, Man City.
That's the best defensive side in Europe. Atletico Madrid play 2 up front.
There you go. And that's it. We've got, so you've banged on about it for ages, 2 holding midfield players, right? If you're going to play Ross Barkley, put him up front then, with Rom. Put him just sitting behind Rom. False fucking, whatever, number 10 bollocks and all that. Split striker. Play 2 out-and-out wingers and say to these 2 divvies who are supposed to be boss James McCarthy, 80% of the world's covered by one, all that shite, yeah? Is it honest, yeah? Put him and say to them, you do everyone's work. These 4 don't need to get back. You've got 6 defenders. If you've got four defenders and them 2, you've got 6 defensive players. If 6 defensive players can't look after the other team, then we may as well go home anyway. Because Joe Royle fucking come in 95 and done it. We basically played 4-2-4 under Joe Royle all the way through.
And then that has a knock-on effect, doesn't it? If you've got 2 strikers up front, they're not going to push.
They can't push people up. They're never going to go. You're never going to go 3v2. Never.
But
never.
you have to also decide. You have to also decide what your philosophy is, and I've said this for a while as well. You can't play with wingers and attacking fullbacks. You just can't do it.
No, but they can link.
No, but
David Moyes, and I'll quote him because he's our last manager. Like that last season, he was here. Some of the best football Everton, definitely the best football Everton played under Moyes. Only probably rivaled when we had Yakubu that year, when he got his 21 goals. That final year with Moyes, and he had the best 2 fullbacks in Europe until someone else has took them over and they've now become average. But the best 2 fullbacks in Europe. We had 2 wingers in front of them. Morales was different class. Pinar on the other side was absolutely brilliant. They both worked up and down with Coleman, the inter. Yeah, but that's what you do.
No, that's what I'm saying. People.
Right, we had 2 midfield players, and then we had, if you'd have had a good centre forward, we'd have been in business. But we had Fellaini and Cahill, whichever way you wanted to play it. And then you had people in Phil Neville, God rest his soul. Gibson, someone like that. Is Everton's soul because we destroyed them at the end of me, let's be honest. But we had 2 midfield players who could tackle and get about the pitch. And that team was only Romelu Lukaku short of top 4 and trophies in my eyes. It really was. Forget the fact, we berated Moyes because he didn't win at Anfield and he didn't win at Arsenal, didn't win at United and all that. Forget the fact he won. Forget the fact he won 14 home games every year.
Yeah. Possession is king, though. A wise man told me that. Possession is king. Without possession, you're nothing. A wise man told me that.
Brendan, 77%.
No, someone else told me that.
It wasn't me, was it? Was it me?
It wasn't me.
No, it wasn't Harry. I'm not going to call him out.
Anyway. Yeah.
I think I know who it was.
Well, they float that stat around, didn't it? 77% of the time that you win the possession stat, you win the game. What a load.
It's what you do with it, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's what you do with it. We used to have a philosophy where, like you just said, we had the 2 best fullbacks in the land, and they used to link with this midfield. Obviously, we all know the peanut. Oh, it just makes me so sad. How long have we been sitting here going, we know what the problem is, we don't have a left. Why wasn't replacing Pina the most important? It was like the greatest weapon in Europe.
We sat in a room with him 12 months ago and he told us that the left winger
and a number 10 and a new
10.
goalie.
That was it. That was the key element.
Yeah.
On Saturday we had, what did we have? Ozzy Ado. That was our left side, wasn't it?
But we used to have.
V-man.
We used to have literally we had the greatest weapon in Europe. No matter what anyone thinks, it was proven. The left hand side.
The greatest weapon in Europe.
Yeah,
he's running the club.
The left hand side of Everton's team used to get the most assists in Europe for like. What I used to always say when you say about Pina's stats used to be like 1 assist a season. I go, yeah, but watch how many times he passes the ball for Baines, so he was the link player.
Baines
and you used to think you've got all you need to do. I mean, I know it's a big job because again, I always think people just underestimate how good a player Pina is or was. We had to go out and find a player on that left hand side who could do the Pina job, and not only have we not done that. We just don't play anyone on the left hand side. It's fucking mad.
But you know what? We had on Saturday, we had Morales there who can play on the left side, and Osman played there, and Morales played inside. It's like you've got a problem there on the left wing. Give him a go. Let him see what the last time he played there was at Chelsea away, and he had a brilliant game that day, and he's not been given a go there ever since. It just baffles, doesn't it?
You do just like bang your head against the brick wall. You've got a derby match that I don't think anybody's looking forward to in blue. Obviously the Reds are rubbing their hands because it's almost guaranteed 3 points. And then you've got a semi-final this week. We should have been bouncing this week, going to Wembley at the weekend. We should have been bouncing, and don't think I've ever been so deflated before an FA Cup semi-final. I just think it's just, you know, when you've got people saying that they've been told on the train that, you know, like, that billionaires are telling them, you know,
and websites running it.
They probably were told that, and the lads who've done it have let everybody else know in good faith, because that's probably exactly what happened. But that's not necessarily what's going to happen.
That doesn't necessarily mean
it's not really going
to. The saddest thing I can say about Saturday was I actually didn't care what the result was. And that's the saddest thing. I didn't actually flinch when they scored. I didn't get up and shout.
You just come when they scored.
But it's not even that. I just didn't care.
I was surprised, to be honest. I was surprised we didn't get beat.
We nearly a Mori away where.
But when they scored, I honestly thought there should be 2 or 3-1, because these need to win, and we'd shot our boat. The only thing that rescued us was Tom Davies coming on, because it kind of gave everyone that little bit of life again, didn't it? And he showed some.
In fairness, he calmed it down, didn't he?
Let's be honest. They were the only real bright spots of the game. Connolly come on, looked very good in possession, put a great ball in, which we got the corner from which we scored. He got his head on the first corner. He had his first touch. He had to deal with a near post header. He looked assured on the ball. He looked confident. Tom Davies come on, like I said on my reaction video, looked like he couldn't be arsed.
No, he looked like a kid. He looked like a kid who'd just been dropped off from the 70s. He was amazing. He had the hair. He had the socks down there.
I'm not saying that he didn't want to be there. Of course, he was made up, but it was funny. The way he just come on and was just
love that though.
You know what? Whatever. Yeah,
I love that. He looks like
I've got shin, he's not arsed.
Looks like he's that type of player though, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Just, you know,
he's got swag.
Two echoes down his socks.
He's just there like that, you know.
Not those kind of echoes.
And he had like a little bit of a dish going on.
I loved all that.
And he was just flicking stuff. Boss that thing, the little shimmy in the penalty and then just released the full back. It was absolutely brilliant, wasn't it? And then, like you said before, you know, you kind of come away and go, why don't we just play 6 at the 21s and just go,
whatever.
So what? At least we would have had something to watch.
That's it. Like when Martinez first came to the club, he said, I want to utilise this incredible academy that we've got.
I had an argument with someone a while ago who then wrote a piece saying, oh, everything's rosy. The fact that we're 13th, they're amazing. It was printed in the Echo actually, about how great Roberto Martinez in the football club. It's just a few weeks ago, even when we were like 96th in the league or something, it was still marvellous, and the Echo ran it unbelievably, but that's the Echo. About the myth of Roberto Martinez in youth, bringing everyone through. Got to play John Stones, because John Stones was probably the best defender at the club. Ross Barkley's one of the best midfielders in my eyes. You know, Lukaku has played in the Premier League and scored goals, so he had to play. Delafeu, I'll give him, because he was young. So, where's all the others? You know,
where's Brendan Galloway?
Where's Galloway? Came like that before the game.
Where's Brendan Galloway?
It's all bollocks, mate. It's all rubbish.
But in terms of like players from our academy, though,
where are they all?
Browning's probably the only one, isn't he? I can think of.
And he wouldn't have played half the time.
Barkley made his debut.
You know, you just think.
But you're looking at that under-21s team as well, and they're 4th in the league, so they're having a good season. There's obviously a few good players in there. Kieran Dowell. Where was he?
Let's just, before we go, let's talk about the white elephants in the room.
Pennington. He's on loan. He's a right back. I don't know how.
Came on in the FA Cup.
I don't know how good he is. Wow. He looked awful against Barnsley. I apologise, but you did.
But then he come on against Stephen and looked quite good.
We've got one right. All right, they've got this. So,
and then he's disappeared again.
But he's on loan, so surely
we call him,
or
because he's playing league football somewhere.
So yeah, let's talk about Nias.
Let's talk about Nias.
Not even talked about the game.
The game was crap. What happened? We got a corner coming. Murray hit it with the keeper.
You've never been here before,
better, 1-0. And that was it. They hit the bar, the post, they scored. That was it. There was nothing nearly else to talk about. It was crap.
Nias. On the bench again, man. I'm thinking, why are you on the bench?
Half the team out. Half the team decimated. Osman hasn't been seen for months.
I seen him at half time warming up. I've never seen. The last time I seen a man so lost was
Don't say Tom Hanks.
I was going to say Tom Hanks in Castaway, actually. I was going to say Tom Hanks in Castaway.
With the ball.
Yeah, with the ball. Literally, he was with the ball. He was just talking to the ball, like, just...
Remember when I was boss in
Yeah,
Russia?
and, yeah, I was warmer in Russia. My heart was warmer in Russia. He was warming up on his own.
5 Europa League goals.
I seen him try to do keepy-ups, he got to about 5, and the ball bounced away. And then, you know, he's making the sub second half. And you're just thinking, yeah, the last one will probably be Kone, because by this time he was like that on the Zimmer. I'd broken a hip from the overhead kick, and he didn't make it. And I just thought, no matter how bad that lad is, you've just destroyed him.
Yeah,
you have just boss man management, because you have just.
He went straight that. He went down.
You've just literally you've just destroyed that lad, because that tells all of us in this ground that he is awful, and that is always now what everyone's going to think, because everyone already thought he was awful from displays, but everyone's like, well, yeah, but we haven't seen him, he's got this wrist injury, and obviously that's going to stop him playing football. Having wrist injury stops you playing football. Jamie Vardy, he didn't play him, and now we're hearing we'll be lucky to see him again this season. What's he on the bench for then? If he's injured or he's not fit, why is he on the bench? Why? When you could have these kids on the bench.
I'm not gonna destroy him because I haven't seen enough of him, and the bits I've seen of him, he looks decent.
No.
So
He's destroyed him.
I'm not gonna say that he's the worst player ever, but what the manager's doing is he's putting that doubt in everybody's mind now, because he's not getting anywhere near the side. He's not playing in the 21s. To come out with this thing today of we'll see him next season is absolutely terrible. It's diabolical man management. He's not gonna be fit to play till next season. What's he doing every day?
Yeah.
What is he doing every day? He's supposed to be training. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just take the call of it to me, ass. Tell him me and Ped will go for a job with him. It's just absolutely pathetic. The worst bit of management I've ever seen. This is a man that bigged up Lassina Traore, even when he played about 4 seconds. Still, I mean, 100% strike rate on the game started, of course. But we got told for months, even though he was practically getting his hamstrings sellotape back together, our boss Lassina, he's still got a big role to play. There was 2 games left of the season. This fella who we paid, don't forget, he's the third record signing in Everton's history. Wow. This fella. And we're getting told, because of his wrist injury, whatever he's been doing with that, he's not going to be ready till next season. And there's still 7 league games or whatever there is left to play, 6 league games. What's going on?
I just think that's a load of bollocks.
Of course it is.
I just don't think it's not true, is it? How can you not get fit when you've got a wrist injury like that? It's remarkable.
you can't do press ups.
And again, it's another one of those things where it's like he's taking the fans for fools, and we've done this so many times this season. He tries to gloss over things.
He thinks we are fools,
saying we're doing boss when everyone knows that we're not. It's like saying, oh, everyone will just understand. This fella who we paid £13.5 million for, got rid of another decent forward to get him in, and now we're even shorter in an area that we were short to begin with. I watched him at half time quite close as well, and the worrying thing for me was that he didn't interact with anyone. He ran past Ross Barkley and Lukaku a couple of times, didn't say a word. The only time he did interact with anyone was when Pienaar came out and booted the ball on him. He was knocking it back and forward, and then even Pienaar stopped to talk to someone, and he just had a little wander around again.
He just looked like...
And then, even my mate went to Watford last time, and he said when he was warming up on the sideline, it was the same. No one spoke to him. I don't know if he's just not settled, but like you said, the manager now has just put him in a position where it's going to be so bad. And even State doesn't need to come out and say we're not going to see him again this season, because everyone it's just another thing. It's the melting pot, isn't it?
What he's doing is he's protecting himself.
Yeah,
he's not protecting the player. He's not protecting the player. He's protecting himself. What he's saying is, I've bought this player. Don't worry, it'll be fine next season. Might even be next season, but he's basically just, don't worry about it. And because it again, and I'll say this, because it reflects badly on the player, on the manager. Forget the player. It just reflects badly on Roberto, and Roberto's all about Roberto. He's made that quite clear in the recent weeks. After the game on Saturday, you've got one manager who's fuming, you've got the other manager who's like, yeah, but I give these 2 kids their debuts. Who's asked? He just...
You've got we're playing a derby match on Wednesday, and we've got no players really. We've got so many injuries, and we've got a £14 million centre forward that's not going to get on the pitch. And that says it all. Lukaku's not going to start Wednesday, and if he does, it's ridiculous. You know, if he's talking about this, if he's talking about Wembley as like the big, you know, he said, I seen a piece and someone said he said defining about this week 9 times in the same interview.
Wow. Right,
so then by that ratio, then if we get beat Wednesday, Saturday, he should resign Saturday night after that, because he's called it this week. He's basically said, this judge me on this week. So if we get tonked Wednesday and then beaten Saturday, then he should walk for the sake of it, because otherwise don't come out with shite.
But he won't, you'll find a way.
Of course he won't, because he'll be spun some way, because that's what he does. He's great at it. He's great at spinning bullshit to make himself.
Let me go
look
back
decent.
to something we sort of hinted at before. You were talking about the crowd, and you know, the crowd on Saturday. Like, I know what you were hinting at. Like, there's talk that banners and stuff were taken off people. I didn't see with my own eyes. I know there was a few banners got through, so I don't know. But fans have still got voices, haven't they? And like you were, alluding to before, we can all go on social media. We can all, but you know, you've got a chance there at the ground. And I'm not having a go with anyone, but you have got a chance to have a go with the manager. And again, there's boos at the end, but there's no there's no singing or anything. And I know that's not us. And I know some people see that as cop-out behaviour and all the rest of it. But as I've said, if you don't want the manager to be at the club, I wouldn't rely on anyone else to get a sack. It'd have to be the fans who got him the sack.
But that's what I'm saying.
But I also think that a lot of people don't want to sort of look like idiots either. Do you know what I mean? It's like, they want him out now, but he could win the semi-final, win the derby match, and no one wants to look stupid. It's like the ex-players, isn't it? It's like the ex-players. No ex-player wants. You've seen Ratcliffe, you've seen Michael Ball, you've seen Barry Orne, they're all right and stuff. No one actually has been prepared to say, though, he should be sacked, because no one wants to look stupid in case we do win the FA Cup final. And as I said before, the FA Cup doesn't mean nothing to me. I still want him to go whether he wins it or not, you know. But no one is prepared to just put them. No one to put themselves out there yet. No one from the Echo or
what you've got to do,
anyway.
The thing about it is, I can understand why people don't want to do it yet, because you don't want to. You don't want it to detract from the team, do you? Of course you don't. But all I would say is, I don't know any other way that people are going to be able to. I don't know how it's avoidable if you. And this is what I'm saying. Maybe we've judged it wrong. Maybe it's actually the small minority that don't want him there, and the majority do want him there. And you don't know, because I don't know either way, because you don't see anything or hear. I sat there Saturday watching one of the worst Everton performances for a while, and there was nothing. There was just total and utter
apathy.
That's it. I think everyone was just like, yeah, well, what do you expect? And this is the danger. If you just, you know, people have got their own opinions about what they want for their club. It might necessarily match mine. Do you know what I mean? I want us to be challenging for the top honours. I want us to be putting markers out there and going, we want to be up there. We're not happy where we are. We want to be up there. And the only way that anyone is going to voice their opinion is that you have to do it as a collective, and you have to do it at the place where the people who can make that decision are aware of it. But I understand why people don't want to go to the ground and boo while the team's playing as well. So it's a difficult one to call, isn't it? Because you don't know what everyone's thinking, basically.
I think if we lose Saturday, that'll change quickly. I think there'll be a lot of anger then, because with that game looming and the potential to get into a cup final and win our first trophy for 21 years.
Of course, you don't want too much negativity.
It's kind of like a spectre, isn't it, hanging over us a little bit at the moment. It's been there for a while. We've obviously had not anything in the league, and it's kind of created this malaise leading up to the game. But like, when that goal went on Saturday for Southampton, it was just, usually you get like the odd person standing up and having a go, or you know, saying, oh, what, you know, so and so, what are you doing there? But by me, it was just silent.
Yeah,
no one said a word. It was like, it's
like a level of expectation, almost.
Is it that there's no real anger at the moment because of this game, and because we've got the derby, we've got the FA Cup semi-final. But I think if things did go badly this week, we're already seeing banners now. I think there'd be a lot more anger from the crowd, and that'll change.
I think the other thing that you could do, right, and this is, people rightly so don't want to do it in front of the team, because the team, you're there to support your team. We all want our team to do well. I don't want to sit here and talk about the manager leave. I wanted to sit here and say, oh, what a fantastic manager we've got, but I'm not going to sit here and go, he's the right man for the job, when he's clearly not. You know what I mean? He's not the right man for the job, and history's proved that. He's only had one top half finishing is all of his Premier League experience. So that tells you he finishes. This is roughly where he finishes. He probably made up to 41 points this earlier in the season. So that's everyone's got the levels, haven't they? But after the game, when the players have gone off the pitch, you can make it known, or because it's the only way something's going to happen. I'm not a fan of planes with banners. I'm sorry. If that's what you like to do, that's fine. That's just not that's not my thing. And I'm also not a fan of sitting there and booing and singing the manager out while the game's going on. But there's, at some stage, as a fan, we've got to, I don't know how you...
Don't run on the pitch though during the game.
No, well, I'm not a fan of that. I am there. People asked me yesterday about it, what's your opinion, and I thought it was, don't run on the pitch and then throw a dig at a stupid who's there to do his job. Absolutely divvy.
Square up
to it. Silly, because you've been banned. You're going to get banned for
You're banned forever.
And it's not worth it, is it?
There's no, I mean, there's the final thing I want to say about, because it really, the crowd are there, we pay our money and stuff like that to watch the game. It's the people up there whose standards, it shouldn't be down to the crowd almost to go, he's got to go, bro, get him out. The people who are up there should be going, this isn't what we want.
The one who says, what a manager. The only way, what I want to see happen is, and I don't think I'll be upsetting any of our viewers is, but Mr. Mashiri has to buy out Bill now. I'm sorry, he has to buy Bill out.
Gotta get it.
Because it's clear that, well, I don't know what's going on, but I'm thinking in the summer, we always said this would be the transition period. In the summer, Mashiri has got to become the, he's got to get over that 51%. He's got to become the man with all the power at the club. I'm not asked about what selling your soul and standards and all this crap that people keep on. Hey, we were the first club to have nets.
Undersoil eating. Three tiers.
Good
corner flags.
Good on yous. Good for that. I made up.
And also we had loads of money in
number 9, but we were also called the Mersey Millionaires as well, weren't we? So we've been here before. Bill should just be an honorary figure at the club. Shouldn't have any power.
No.
Shouldn't have any power at the club whatsoever. He's a lovely man. All that. But he shouldn't have any power at the club.
Business.
That man, Mashiri, needs to take control. There shouldn't be any arguments about who has control at the club, and he should be making the decisions, because I think Bill's just too, he's proved it, he's just far too loyal. He loves Everton to a point where it's blind, and someone needs to make a tough decision, because this man in control of the club at the moment I've never ever wanted an Everton man to be sacked, and I've seen Mike Walker, I've been there with Walter Smith. I never wanted anyone to be sacked, and this is the first manager, and whether it's my age, whether it's whatever, I don't know, but I've never wanted a manager sacked, and I just want this man gone.
I didn't want Walker sacked, even when we started, because I felt as though we were playing some decent stuff at the time, and I felt as though there was a team in there. But we sacked him, and we brought Joe Royle and we won the FA Cup.
Yeah. We
stayed up, and then the next year we finished 6th. And the Christmas of the next year, we were getting talked about as dark horse for the championship. Just that Joe Parky got injured and the wheels fell off a little bit. That was all changed very quickly. From me not wanting Mike Walker to get sacked to the next minute, we had a trophy in our bloody cabinet. We won the Charity Shield. We had Andrei Kanchelskis playing for us, Gary Speed. All of a sudden, the club went doo-doo, because that's what you do. You don't sit there and go, he might get it right.
Well, that's it. Even with Smith, it was 1 week. It was, listen, there's a decent team there. He'll get it right. His hands are, all that kind of thing.
That did one Bolter out.
And then Moyes came in and just injected something, and that feeling, and suddenly People's Club and all that, and he's got all the players at it, and you seen the likes of Duncan, Unsworth, people you love, back at it again, and that's what we need. We're just tumbling. Like you actually coined it last year, Matt, and I'll give you all the credit for it, when you said we were sleepwalking.
This is on tape.
No, Matt said it. He said it on I think he said it on the Blue Room last year.
Oh, no one listens to that.
Not anymore. That's another story.
Yeah, go on, mate.
That's another story.
Go on.
And Matt said it last season. He said we were sleepwalking, and it's the perfect phrase. We're doing it again now, and we need to wake up, and the only way we're going to wake up is if we get a new manager who just goes, This is bollocks. We're going down. No, what, right? No, have you seen Fast and Furious? Right, we're going down the Paul Walker road, and I want to go down the Vin Diesel road. Right?
I thought you meant something else there for a second.
I've no idea what you'd be thinking. That's where we're going. We're going down the Paul Walker way, even with like the computerized face on the body and all that. I want to go with Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel knows the score because he's not dead. So I want to go that way, right? Paul Walker road, it's to oblivion and a burnt out Porsche. So let's not go that way. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? I'm telling it as it is.
I thought we were in Gerard Houlier's cul-de-sac myself. Turned so many corners, they were in the bloody cul-de-sac.
That's where we are, right?
But
go on, Matt.
I was going to say, do you think the fact that we've not sacked the manager for 14 years is one of the reasons why there's such apathy and like fans aren't making the voices known? Because since I've been going to the match, I've never known us to get rid of the manager before.
Matt, I'll tell you another thing. We're scared of success. I've said this before, said this last week. Over the weekend, we were linked with Mourinho, and now that is probably 99.9 bollocks. It's probably someone getting.
It's his agents.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's A and B. It's people. Whatever. They see people talking about it. The agent starts thinking, "Oh, Man United, there's no, whatever." What? And you've got people going, "I wouldn't want him because he's a horrible man. He wins trophies. Disgusting behaviour." But there's also that idea, and I've said this before, of daring to try and win a trophy and being disappointed by it not. While at the moment we all just tumble along and it's fine, we can all go to the match, have a pint with our mates, it's sound. There's nothing to get too excited about, there's nothing to get too disappointed about. It's like Tim Flowers said, it's having the bottle to go and win something, and half of our fan base don't want to have the bottle to win anything. And I would love Mourinho to just sit. And again, I know it might just be, but imagine getting Mourinho, walks in the first day and just goes, whatever, you out, not taking any nonsense off anybody. This is what we're going to do. We're going to be horrible people and go around and kick people and bore people and go somewhere and go to Anfield and just laugh at the cop or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Whatever it took to win. And I don't think some of our fans are prepared for that. I think some of our fans just want us to toddle around and just be like, we're the gentleman's club and all this shite.
In your opinion?
No, it's not my opinion. It's actual fact.
It's your opinion.
No, it's not. I've seen it. I've seen some of our fans on the likes of Twitter saying they don't want Mourinho because they wouldn't want someone like that representing our club.
That's their
bollocks.
opinion, though, and that's their opinion.
And their opinions are bollocks. Football is about winning trophies, right, at the end of the day.
I know.
And with trophies comes in incredible experiences. My half fella doesn't talk about... He talks about going to Rotterdam and having the time of his life. He doesn't talk about this one time we played this game and it was all dead gently.
You know what? It hits home to me the other week when we played West Ham and we brought Nigel Martin on. And... The person introducing him, and I won't name him, but you know who he is, said he was part of our team that finished fourth. And everyone, and I seen the West Ham video the next day, the lads where they were giving pelters, said, fancy bringing a player on and saying,
yeah,
he's finished in a team that finished, he played in a team that finished fourth. And they were laughing at us, West Ham. And you know what? They were 100% on the money. It's embarrassing.
It's not about me doing because they are still Tory knobheads. But
Porno FC.
Been proved last week.
Porno FC.
Proved last week.
Anyway, we've managed to drag an hour out of something that was the worst game ever. And just by doing this, we've actually doubled Omar Nias's Everton career so far.
More than double 28 minutes, yeah, he's got, hasn't he?
Unbelievable.
All goes back to not playing him in the Villa game. We said it then.
All goes back to actually not having people who are at the training ground who make them run and get them fit. As proved by every club.
Get McPartland back.
Or having scouts that go further than
Get Dave Billows back.
Yeah.
Fitness coach.
Steve, the Tash.
Get Steve Tash.
He needs to come back. He needs to come back
over there.
Stop passing about in Columbus. Come over here.
Beat New York City, did you? Get back here.
Right, we've talked
ages
about this nothing game. Right, tell us what you think in the comments about everything we've just spoke about. Literally everything. We've spoke loads about this game, Nias, Mourinho, Martinez, Fast and Furious. Tell us, which character would you be? Would you like to be Letty? Could Letty be like Everton? She come back from the dead. whatever.
Tell me, mommy, ma. Get all excited. Get all Man United for Saturday.
Yeah, let's get on Man United, yeah. In the comments, yeah, don't forget to subscribe. We've gone over 8,000! Woo! Special effects.
Hit them a clap.
15,000 on Twitter as well. At Toffee TV 1. We're on Snapchat. We're on all those things. You know where we are.
Some great stuff on Snapchat today.
Yeah.
Oh, mate. Telling you. But you've got to get there today, because otherwise it'll be gone. That's the good thing about Snapchat.
Before the lawyers.
The best thing with Snapchat is Baz's balls are only there for 24 hours. Right? We'll be back soon on Toffee TV.